Hello everyone, I'm back with another quick update about Batman Caped Crusader. This is a completely unscripted video. I'm just going to share my chain of consciousness thoughts on what has been revealed today. Batman Caped Crusader is the new cartoon from Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, James Tucker and Ed Brubaker. It's going to be airing on Amazon Prime Video on the 1st of August globally. And they've been very secretive about this show for a number of years. But I think it was last month in May, we received a glimpse of some of the characters. Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Batman himself, Clayface, Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle, and Harleen Quinzel. Well, today, more information has dropped. Some big information, actually. So the main thing to take away from this is that the voice cast has been announced. So first of all, we have Jamie Chung playing Harley Quinn, or Dr. Harleen Quinzel. Now, I know her from the Hangover movies, but I'm sure she's been in a lot of other stuff that people will be screaming at me for. How have you not seen this? I'm sorry, I don't watch a lot of modern stuff. When I talk about the voice of Catwoman and Selena Kyle, you'll see this because it's Christina Ricci, who is best known, to me anyway, as Wednesday Addams from the 90s Addams Family movies. Diedrich Bader joins the cast as their Harvey Dent and Two-Face. Now, that's a very great piece of casting right there, because Diedrich Bader has history with the Batman franchise. He played Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold, another cartoon from James Tucker, who works on this show. So it's really quite a bold choice, casting a former Batman as a prominent Batman villain. But the most important piece of casting is the voice of Batman and Bruce Wayne, and that is one Hamish Linklater, who I have no idea who this is. I've never seen anything he's been in, but I'm told he's in Midnight Mass and Manhunt, but I should probably check those shows out right now. So those are the only cast members whose roles have been revealed. The other cast members include Minnie Driver, Eric Morgan Stewart, Michelle C. Bonilla, Crystal Joy Brown, John DiMaggio, McKenna Grace, Jason Watkins, Paul Schreier, Reed Scott, Gary Anthony Williams, Dan Donahue, David Krumholtz, Haley Joel Osment, and Toby Stevens. No idea who any of them are playing. The list of villains that has been confirmed for Season 1 includes Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Two-Face, Gentleman Ghost, the Penguin, Natalia Knight, who is known as Nocturna in the comics, Firebug, and Clayface. And I've already talked about Catwoman, Clayface and Harley Quinn, but it's surprising to see such a wide selection of relatively obscure Batman villains. Did anyone have Firebug on their bingo cards? I certainly didn't. I suppose I shouldn't have been too surprised, though, considering he appeared in Gotham Central, which was an excellent procedural crime comic set in Gotham City, co-written by Ed Brubaker, who is Caped Crusader's lead writer. The thing that really jumped out at me, though, is it looks like we're not getting the Joker this season. I don't feel bad about that. I'm not at all upset by this, even though John DiMaggio's in the cast and he played the Joker in Under the Red Hood, the direct-to-DVD animated movie. But one thing I do like the idea of, and I really hope they do this, if not this season, the next season, is including the man who would become the Joker. He could potentially be the Red Hood. He could just be a side character, even if he doesn't become the Joker until much later on. And would it be too much for John DiMaggio to play him? Maybe, I guess, because you would draw... it would be impossible not to draw parallels with his performance in Under the Red Hood. Personally, I suspect John DiMaggio will be playing Clayface. He has a voice that sounds like it could be attributed to an actor that only plays gruff henchmen, but that's just a guess on my part. We'll find out for certain in, 6 weeks when the show comes out? Oh my god, it's coming out in 6 weeks. So with the mindless speculation aside, Vanity Fair released an article that included 2 new images. So one is of Batman and Harley Quinn. Nothing particularly surprising there. And the second is of Batman and Alfred in the Batcave. Now, Alfred was included in that leak back in March, and you can see that his character model is a bit beefier than what we're used to seeing. And he looks more like the original Golden Age Alfred, whose name was Alfred Beagle back in the day, before they changed it to Alfred Pennyworth. Not really anything amazing worth mentioning there, I suppose. Just an interesting fact. But let's get on to some of the new details that have been revealed about the characters. So, right off the bat, the article leads with Harley Quinn. So I've already talked quite extensively about Harley Quinn, but the article does provide us with some more information and kind of solidifies some of the stuff that I thought might happen in the show. So Jamie Chung describes Harley Quinn, or I should say Harleen Quinzel, as a psychiatrist that is really bubbly and seems like she really cares about her clients. But she's kind of like Robin Hood. She treats some of the elites in Gotham, but she takes it upon herself to bring justice in her own way. Now, when she talks about the character of Harley Quinn, she says that she's kind of creepy. They really wanted Harley Quinn to be very menacing, a bit more quiet and calculating. In a weird way, she's like a dominatrix. You're in all this pain, and yet she's telling you what to do, and you've been a bad boy. Doubtlessly, that last sentence will cause concern for those that think that Bruce Timm is a little bit too lusty in his cartoons. But hey, I'm keeping an open mind. And it's funny that we also get a little bit of information about the show's detective Renee Montoya, who in this series is Dr. Harleen Quinzel's girlfriend. Now that's interesting because in the comics, Renee Montoya was the girlfriend of Batwoman. So they've got form for doing this kind of thing with Renee Montoya before anyone starts lighting their torches and bringing out their pitchforks complaining about diversity and inclusion and whatever. The article states that Harleen Quinzel has a more normal romantic relationship with Gotham City detective Renee Montoya, which tempers her more vicious leanings as Harley Quinn. Montoya is a by-the-book, honest cop who doesn't know her girlfriend's secret underworld life, and her integrity is one of the things that gives Harley Quinn pause about her actions. However, she also doesn't see Montoya and law enforcement in general as effective tools for dealing with the wrongdoers she's uncovered. And Bruce Timm elaborated on this further by saying, "We figured, as a psychiatrist, her clientele are some of the richest, most powerful men in Gotham City, and they dump all of their crap on her. It's driving her crazy. She hears all this stuff, but because of psychiatrist-client privilege, she can't do anything about it. She can't tell anybody. We figured some of these guys have probably confessed some really horrible things to her, and she's just like, well, I can't turn this guy loose on the streets, but I can't turn him into the cops either." Harley Quinn is really clearly intended to be a parallel to Batman. Keep that in mind after I've finished talking about the other characters, because this is going to come up a lot. So let's move on to Catwoman. So Christina Ricci's performance is described as a throwback to the femme fatales of the film noir era, with a bit of brassy self-determination of the screwball comedy characters played by Carole Lombard. Likewise, the relationship between Batman and Catwoman is described as not being romantic per se, it's more chemical. There's pheromones involved, according to James Tucker. He also describes their Catwoman as flighty, which is quite a departure from how she's portrayed in most other shows. I mean, there is a sort of a playful element to her most of the time, but she tends to be quite serious. Yeah, I'm just running through the shows in my head, like Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, she was kind of serious there. Yeah, she was quite playful in the Batman and Brave and the Bold as well, I suppose. But I'm quite interested in seeing how this version of the character turns out. Now, moving on to Two-Face. Now, Two-Face is my favourite Batman villain, as anyone that watches my channel regularly will know. Back in March, I mentioned there was a leak of character designs from Caped Crusader, and Two-Face is one of the villains that is included in that leak. But no official images of him have been released yet, and he has really quite a striking design. It's not what you think it might be. But I'm really hesitant to share images of the leak because I don't want to ruin the surprise of seeing him for the first time. So actually, I'm going to hold off on sharing any of the leaked images, but I'll share some comic book images that kind of resemble him. So hopefully the actual show's version of him will be a surprise to see. Now, their version of Harvey Dent is described as a smarmy and corrupt district attorney who becomes the double-crossing villain Two-Face. Now, immediately this brings to mind the Two-Face of the Harley Quinn animated series, because he is very duplicitous. I kind of dig the idea, though, of kind of taking the what is traditionally presented as a tragic story and kind of flipping it on its head a little bit. Because most versions of the story have started with Harvey Dent, the good man, a wounded but good man, who is pushed over the edge by the accident. But this show starts out with him being a corrupt DA who uses his position to help rich criminals evade justice. And Bruce Timm said, "We thought, well, what if he starts off as kind of a schnook?" And there's a word I don't hear very often. And then he gets his face disfigured, and for the first time in his life he actually feels empathy for other people. Two-Face is still a bad guy, but like Harley Quinn, he's lashing out for what he believes is a noble cause. Like Batman himself, All of them live outside the law for what they consider righteous reasons. And I feel like that's a really good time to move on to their Batman. Bruce Timm has described him as an emotionally messed up version of Batman who's extremely aloof and almost inhuman. I know some people will probably groan at the grim, dark, gritty Batman, but I think there's potential here to show him grow as a person, to kind of get past his emotional problems. One of the episodes involves Bruce Wayne being referred to Dr. Harley and Quinzel for psychiatric help. So that kind of indicates to me that there is some willingness on his part to get treatment. Getting back to what Bruce Timm said, he said that our Batman is closed off emotionally all the way down to the ground. We jokingly kept saying throughout the show that he makes Mr. Spock look like the life of the party. As much as he tries to tamp down all of his emotions, Catwoman throws him off. He becomes obsessed with catching her and putting her away in prison, just so that he can kind of stop thinking about her. And when talking about Bruce Wayne, Bruce Timm said, Bruce Wayne was a persona that Batman himself has cultivated to throw people off his scent. Deep down inside, he's not a fun guy. He's not charming. He's not sexy or anything like that. He's devoted to warring on crime 24/7. Hamish was really the only one that nailed exactly what we were going for. So that is a really interesting point. Bruce says in the article that they had a bunch of people audition for the role, and many of them did excellent Batman voices, but their Bruce Wayne voices were just completely wrong. And it was Hamish that was able to get both sides of the character. That's promising. I feel very enthusiastic about this. Now, hearing the Batman voice in the video that was shared on Instagram, I think it's obviously been uploaded to YouTube by now, and I'll put a link to it in the info button for anyone that hasn't heard it yet. It's very clear that the voice he's using is influenced by the performance of Kevin Conroy. And, you know, much in the same way that anyone that voices Bugs Bunny is going to be influenced by Mel Blanc, or anyone that voices, I don't know, Mickey Mouse is going to be influenced by Walt Disney's work as Mickey Mouse. Kevin Conroy is now essentially immortalized as Batman, and he's going to live on forever through other people's performances as Batman, unless someone else comes along and does something equally as influential but transformative. There were a couple of really great quotes from Hamish Linklater in the article, and I'm just going to read a couple of them now. He said, I never in a million bajillion years imagined that I would actually get the part. Not only had I never been cast to do voiceover work before this, but also, it's Batman! You don't just go from zero to Mount Olympus. Then I got the call and I screamed so loud I just ran and grabbed my kids and was just like, Dad's Batman! Bruce Wayne is the mask. He's the secret identity. He's the invention. Batman is the actual character, the actual guy. It's set in the 40s, so I just thought of how Batman would try to play himself off as a playboy socialite. I think I just tried to swing and swing and swing until I made contact with something. I don't really know what else to add here, frankly. I'm feeling very positive about this show, in case you couldn't already tell by the fact that I jump at the chance to talk about it whenever anything comes up. I mean, I already put out an unscripted video today about the Lobo Big Fragging Compendium 1 collection that landed in my lap today, and I had no idea that anything else of importance would be announced today. Like, literally, I filmed that video on my lunch break from work, and then like half an hour before my video went live, here comes all this Caped Crusader news. I'm in a panic, like, oh my god, I'm in meetings until 8 o'clock tonight. What the hell am I going to do? Anyway, I've managed to squeeze this out. I mean, hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully, you know, you found it informative and not just some crazy middle-aged dude ranting and raving about a cartoon that's coming out on Amazon on the 1st of August. Nearly got into a promotional mode then. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've booked the day off work and I'm going to watch every episode on the day it comes out. And I'll share more thoughts. Maybe do some scripted video essays and stuff like that later on once the show's actually out and I've had time to digest it and think about what it's saying. Cool. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care and goodbye.